Hey there, so one of the problems when Apple releases next-gen AirPods like the AirPods Pro 3 is that on the surface they tend to look pretty similar to the previous model, and a lot of folks, particularly those who own the previous model, wonder if the upgrades that Apple is touting are as consequential as it says they are. Well, I have some opinions on all that, so let's jump right into my full review and talk about just how improved the AirPods Pro 3 really are. This is All Things Mobile. Before I get into what's changed, I'll quickly mention a couple of things that haven't. First, the AirPods Pro 3's list price remains at $249. That wasn't a given with all the uncertainty surrounding the Trump administration tariffs, but we'll see where their street price shakes out on Amazon and other retailers where we typically see discounts. Second, the AirPods Pro 3 are powered by the same Apple H2 chip that powers the AirPods Pro 2, AirPods 4 series, and Beats Powerbeats Pro 2. They were rumored to be getting an H3 chip, however, that didn't happen. Nor did we get any new color options. Alas, white is it. Okay, let's get into the upgrades. I'm just going to quickly run through them and then recap my experience with some of the key changes. Keep in mind that I've only been testing the buds for a few days, so I haven't been able to test everything thoroughly, but I have spent several hours evaluating the buds' design, sound quality, noise canceling, and voice calling performance. So here's what's new or upgraded. They now have heart rate sensors like the Beats Powerbeats Pro 2, and their noise canceling, according to Apple, is 2 times better than the noise canceling in the AirPods Pro 2. The buds have been redesigned with some changes to their geometry, and they're a tad smaller, but more importantly, they have a slightly different shape, and the angle of the buds has been altered so the ear tips point more directly into your ear canals, and the ear tips have been redesigned with a bit of memory foam infused into the silicone, making them feel a little firmer and more premium. When you think of traditional foam tips, they tend to feel both dense and squishy at the same time, but these new tips really are silicone tips infused with a thin layer of memory foam, particularly toward the front of the tip. The tips now come in 5 sizes, including a new extra small tip. While there's no extra large tip, which I was kind of hoping for, the large tips now fit more like XL tips. Last, the new tips click onto the Pro 3s differently from the earlier models, so they aren't compatible with the original AirPods Pro or AirPods Pro 2. The buds definitely felt different in my ears than the Pro 2s, and overall they seem to fit more snugly and securely. For this release, Apple's really focused on the fit of the buds because a tight seal is crucial for optimal sound quality and noise canceling performance, and it wants to make sure people notice that both have improved with the Pro 3s. I do think more people will be able to get a better fit with these buds, though I'm sure you'll find some folks who are just fine with the fit of the AirPods Pro 2 and will complain that those buds fit better than these. While they have 10.7mm drivers like the AirPods Pro 2, those drivers have been upgraded to take advantage of the buds' new multi-port acoustic architecture, which moves more air through the buds and improves sound quality. Apple didn't mention it, but their microphones have been upgraded. The transparency mode is even more natural sounding. And they have a new live translation feature that will also be available for other AirPods with the H2 chip, the AirPods Pro 2 and the AirPods 4 series. However, it won't be available for the Powerbeats Pro 2, which do have an H2 chip. I'm not sure why that's the case, but it is. And instead of being IPX4 splash proof, they've now got an IP57 rating, which means they can withstand a sustained spray of water and are dust resistant. Their case, which is a tad bigger than the AirPods Pro 2 case, has a new U2 chip that increases the range of precision Find My by 1.5 times. The last improvement I'm going to comment on is battery life. The AirPods Pro 3 are now rated for up to 8 hours of battery life with noise canceling on. The AirPods Pro 2 were rated for up to 6 hours. And while they have the same H2 chip and the same size battery, apparently Apple has changed the chemistry of the battery, so a combination of making the earbuds a little bit more energy efficient and that new battery chemistry has led to the better battery life, and it really wanted to reach 10 hours of battery life for folks using the hearing aid feature and that transparency mode. Probably the 2 biggest improvements people were looking for in the AirPods Pro 3 are to the sound quality and noise canceling, with voice calling performance a close third. When it comes to noise canceling, I tested them on a plane against the AirPods Pro 2 and could definitely tell a difference, with the Pro 3s tamping down the cabin noise to a faint hum. The Pro 2s also did a good job, but the Pro 3s took the noise level down even further. I can't tell you if the noise canceling is 2 times better, but it is noticeably better. When I got back to New York City, I put them up against the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra Earbuds 2nd Gen, which a lot of people have been calling the best noise canceling earbuds, or headphones for that matter, although Sony's WH-1000X Mark VI headphones can also make that claim. Well, I can tell you that Apple's noise canceling is now right there with Bose's and Sony's, though it's hard to declare a definitive winner without having an expensive testing rig capable of producing scientific results. I swapped the QC Ultra Earbuds 2s back and forth with the AirPods Pro 3s while riding the subway and walking the streets. Both have truly impressive noise canceling capabilities. Compared to the AirPods Pro 2, the Pro 3s are supposed to do a better job across all frequencies, with noise canceling including mids and higher frequencies that can be a challenge to muffle. I could still hear people's voices, but they were toned down quite a bit and the buds cut out probably 80 to 85% of the noise as I was riding the subway. The sound quality gains may not seem quite as big as the noise canceling gains, but it's not hard to hear the Pro 3 sound is improved over the Pro 2 sound. The bass has more definition and extension, it hits harder, and the earbuds sound clearer overall and slightly more natural and open. I also thought they played a little louder. You aren't going to get quite the same level of sound quality that you get from a good pair of wired studio headphones, but that extra bit of clarity and definition puts the AirPods Pro 3 in the same league as some of the best sounding earbuds, including the Sennheiser Momentum True Wireless 4. I'd still give audiophile buds like the Noble Focus Amadeus and the Bowers & Wilkins PI8 the slight edge sound-wise, but those models are more expensive and can't match the noise canceling and voice calling performance of the AirPods Pro 3 along with their features. Now, some of you are probably hoping that because the AirPods Pro 2 have an H2 chip and these have an H2 chip, that they might be able to get a software upgrade that upgrades their sound quality and their active noise canceling, but that's not the case. The software is really tied to the hardware in the AirPods Pro 3, so the AirPods Pro 2 will not get those upgrades. Okay, so moving on to voice calling performance, and this is where the microphones are tied in, those upgraded microphones that Apple didn't talk about. I did a test call in the streets of New York City so you could hear what a call sounds like, and I did think the voice calling performance was improved. I'm in the streets of New York doing a test call with senior video producer Mimi. I've got a lot of cars in the background with a little bit of wind. I have some kids playing in a playground behind me as well. How do I sound overall?
Overall, you sound good. I don't hear any of that background noise. You do sound a little bit more digital than what I know you to sound like normally, but it's not distracting at all.
All right. Thanks a lot. That's a test call with the new AirPods Pro 3. I didn't notice a huge improvement with the transparency mode. The AirPods Pro 2's transparency mode was already the gold standard for transparency modes, but it is supposed to be a little bit more natural sounding, and that does come into play with Apple's hearing aid mode, which requires you to allow sound into the earbuds, and so that should be a little bit better, though I haven't really tested that out yet. Now, a lot of people are talking about this new live translation feature. Now, a lot of earbuds already have live translation features. You have Google, you have Samsung, you have a bunch of earbuds on Amazon from China that also have live translation feature. What's a little bit different about Apple's is that it's trying to make it a lot easier to use. So to get into live translation, you just have to hit a button. The action button can be programmed to go into the live translation app. And you can also just press on both stems of the AirPods Pro to make it go into live translation mode.
Cada día solo hablo inglés y un poquito ruso, sí, porque el ruso es mi idioma nativo, por eso sí, hablo ruso con mi...
If two people have AirPods, that's really the best way to use it. One person can speak in one language, the other person can speak in another language, and everything is done locally on the phone. There aren't as many languages available as compared to Google, for example, but I expect to see the live translation feature built out a little more and smoothed out over time. I didn't spend much time using the new heart rate monitoring feature yet, and a lot of folks may not necessarily feel it's a must-have feature to have in their earbuds, particularly if they already have an Apple Watch. While the heart rate sensors have been custom designed for the AirPods Pro 3 and aren't identical to the ones in the Powerbeats Pro 2, the experience using them is the same. The heart rate monitoring is tied into a number of fitness apps, including Apple's Fitness Plus, and works in tandem with the Apple Watch's heart rate monitoring feature to get the most accurate measurement between the two devices. You can also use a single bud for heart rate monitoring. I'm sorry I didn't cover all the new features coming to the AirPods Pro 3. Some of those are already announced with iOS 26. There's other things like conversation awareness mode and adaptive audio and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just focusing on the main new improvements of the AirPods Pro 3. And I'll finish up by saying, while I didn't get a new H3 chip, and I was also kind of hoping the charging case would be able to convert into a Bluetooth transceiver so you could use the buds on a plane with an in-flight entertainment system. But I did get most of what I was looking for in the AirPods Pro 3. The changes may seem a little incremental to some folks, but all the key elements like sound quality, noise canceling, and voice calling performance have been noticeably leveled up, along with the hearing aid mode, which benefits from a slightly better transparency mode and improved battery life. Not everybody will care that much about the heart rate monitoring, but for some it will be a welcome addition. Some new features like live translation will be available for the Pro 2s, so many Pro 2 owners won't feel the need to upgrade right away. But if you've had a pair of Pro 2s for a while, I'd be tempted to pass them on to a friend or relative and buy the Pro 3s. For Apple users anyway, they're about as close as you get to being complete earbuds with top-notch noise canceling and voice calling performance, along with excellent sound quality and improved battery life. It's hard to find buds that are really strong in all three departments with a bunch of extra features to boot. As always, let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm David Carnoy for CNET.com. Thanks for watching.